I want to introduce you to one of my very dearest friends. And she epitomizes in so many ways the things that we're going to be talking about tonight and all through the course of the day tomorrow. I have seen God work these messages into her life, and God has used her and uses her as an instrument of grace and challenge in my own life. Jennifer Smith, during her youth, when I didn't know her, was that season of her life was filled with abuse and bitterness and addiction and violence that ultimately led her to spend 11 and a half years in prison. It was during her incarceration that she came to know Jesus, and she began to be discipled by his word. It's also where she started listening to Revive Our Hearts. And she and other women there in the prison in Newport, Arkansas. Eventually, in God's providence, she was released, and she became a chaplain in the prison where she had spent those 11 and a half years. And that's when I first met her. And I saw God using this woman in the lives of these inmates in an incredible way. They couldn't put anything past her. I mean, she knew when they were not being real. She knew when they were playing games. And she just began to pour out on them the grace and the love of Christ that he had poured out on her. And now she's serving in a very special ministry called Cornerstone Transition Home in Newport, Arkansas, for women who are coming out of prison and sharing with these women the hope of the gospel, providing accountability, helping them to find community and jobs and training so that they can be not only productive citizens, but devoted followers of Jesus Christ. And I've just watched, Jennifer, come if you would, I've watched the Lord use these principles of the seeking him content in her life. And Jennifer not only has immersed herself in these truths, but she has also been used by the Lord to teach these truths to others. And I asked her if she'd come and share. I gave her not very much notice because every time I hear her open her mouth, it's just so real and clear what God is doing in her heart. So, Jennifer, thank you. I love you. I'm so grateful for you. Please welcome Jennifer Smith, if you would.
Well, I got to add a little nickname that I have earned at Cornerstone. It's called Eagle Eye. So that carries on at Cornerstone, and I think I'm always watching them, so they call me Eagle Eye. But I am very grateful to be here, grateful for y'all joining us. Cornerstone is joining us. Our girls back there are watching us live back in Newport. So hello to them. Has this not been good so far? It's been amazing. You know, and I think back to those things that Nancy was saying. I sought a lot of things in my lifetime before I ever sought the Savior that would change my life. I sought peace. And I sought comfort in the bottom of a bottle that was never there. I sought it in the contents of a needle that I would put in my arm. It was never there. I sought it in broken relationships. But it wasn't until I was in McPherson prison and heard the gospel that I began to seek the one that would change my life and give me a joy that would be eternal. And so, yes, I have a criminal background. Yes, I have a criminal background, but I also have a Savior that died a criminal's death so that I could go free. And so I don't want to take a lot of time talking about, I'm grateful for what the Lord done in my life in prison. It was there that like I said, I heard the gospel. I love this study. I've been through the Seeking Him study, I think, over 15 times, and you're thinking, that's overachieving. But it's not overachieving. It's this, my heart is prone to wonder. And so I think we could all agree that we could say our hearts are prone to wonder, to leave the God that we love, because we seek other things, and we seek things to fill what only he can fill. And so it has taken, and I'm still going, I went through it this year, still going to go through it. I think it's just tailor-made for that reason, because our hearts are so prone to wonder. And when you go through this study and these principles, it gets in your face, and it gets ugly. And you either got to resist or agree and surrender, but you got to buckle, you just got to say yes. So like the walls that he was going to kick down, he's coming after us. And so grateful that he does. But not only have I been through this study, but I've been able to now teach this study in the prison. And this year, I'm grateful for friends that seek the Lord with you. Speaking of hearts prone to wonder, one of my greatest fears when I left prison after doing 12 years was that I was going to get out and I was going to be distracted, and I was not going to take the time, or I was going to be distracted by the world and all the things that I haven't done for 12 years and all the things that I haven't experienced. And how am I going to do this? I have not lived 12 years out here, and especially as a new creature. So how is this going to work? What's it going to look like? And so I had a fear of that. I had a fear of losing my zeal, losing my love, as Revelation says, our first love, losing that. And so prison, yes, I'm grateful for that, but I'm also grateful that now on the outside, I'm learning how to seek him in a different environment with different challenges. Challenges were different in there. I was told when to go to the bathroom, what you could eat, what time to get up, what time to go to sleep, where you could walk, when you could talk. I was told all those things. But now out here, all of a sudden, there's a little bit of freedom and choices. And I can remember not long after being released, I had went through this study again. And I was actually in Pennsylvania. And I was visiting a county jail up there, Jack Crane's. And I was actually going through the book of James. And I was struggling a little bit. My heart had already wandered. Y'all know that feeling when you know something's off, your behavior's off a little bit. You're like, why am I so grouchy? Why am I so irritated? Why do I roll my eyes every time my coworker tells me or asks me to do something? Your heart, it just gets a little off. And I had noticed this had been going on. And so back then I was a jogger, and I'm not anymore, so, if I'm jogging, you better be running too, okay? So, but back then I loved to jog. And so I was fresh out of prison, and I was in the rolling hills of Pennsylvania, and I wanted to go jogging at 4:30 in the morning. Well, my coworker said, I don't think that's a good idea for you to do that. You need to ask the host of the home if this is a safe area. So with all the arrogance that I could muster up, I kind of looked at her sideways, like my little dog looks at me when I'm singing, so, and I thought, you're just jealous because you can't run, And but what I did is I disregarded an instruction, and my behavior was a little off. My heart had wandered. And I remember I was running down this street. And I remember out of the shadows in the corner, I seen some movement. I thought, I wonder what that is at 4:30 in the morning. And so her reason for me not wanting to run was because she didn't know if it was safe. I said, I just got out of prison for 12 years. How much safer I've been on America's Most Wanted. No, so, no, just kidding, I haven't. So don't go look up any episodes with Jennifer Smith. It's not there. And so I thought, I can do this. She just, And so I'm running along. All of a sudden, I am face to face with two Doberman pinschers. Yeah. And so immediately, I stopped in my tracks. And I thought, I need to turn around here. So I slowly turned around, slow movements, didn't want to make any aggressive movements. And I got about 5 feet. Whoops, sorry about that. Right there. I got about 5 feet. I can't run, but I can still bend over. So we won't do it twice. I don't want to push my luck there. So I got about 5 feet and started walking backwards, and it hit me. And in the quietness of my heart, the Lord confronted me. And he said, you will submit to a dog before you'll submit to me. And I thought, where does that come from? but it was true. In a moment, I had to agree with what he was saying. And I had to go back, and I had to make some things right. And I had to adjust some areas of my heart where I wasn't seeking him. And so it's been a challenge, the 8 years that I've been out of prison. It's been different challenges. It's not been easy. I think we believe the lie that being a Christian is easy. It's not. There's hard things. I've been through hard things. There's hard things still to come. The ministry that the Lord has entrusted Bethany and our staff to, it's not easy. We are fighting spiritual battles every day on the front lines, going in the enemy's camp and sharing the gospel with people that he has got in bondage. And that's not easy. He attacks us. He's relentless. But you know what I've found is that as long as we seek him, we get to enjoy his presence. We get to enjoy his peace. We get to enjoy his faithfulness. We get to enjoy his provisions. We get to enjoy him. And so some of you have lives that aren't easy. And you'll go home and you'll have situations and circumstances that aren't easy. And some of you, like those Doberman pinchers, God is going to confront you maybe the next 24 hours. And you're going to come face to face with a holy God. And he's going to say, you see that right there? I want that. And he's going to reveal something. He's already done it to me this afternoon. And so he's going to ask for that. And we're either going to agree with him, and we're going to seek him, and then experience the joy that's a byproduct of that, or we'll continue to resist him and be in bondage, like some of these songs that we've sung about. So it's my prayer for you and for you watching, that we will be like the psalmist David, where he says to create in us a clean heart and renew a right spirit within us, and to restore the joy of our salvation. So I pray that as we seek him together this weekend, that he will reveal to you and to me and to those watching the areas where our hearts have wandered, and that we would return to him.